I am Robert Monroe. Welcome to my lounge. Do you ever like talking about current events? Things that you wish you had known when you were younger, when you were just starting out in life? And answers to questions that I get asked all the time. Wait, that's a little odd. Why would you want to know questions that I get asked all the time? Oh, well, whatever. Ignore that. And you want to hear them all over major seventh chords, right? Only major seventh chords. The prettiest of chords. Maybe some minor seventh chords, right? Well, you've come to the right place. I'm Robert Monroe. I think I already said that, but who cares? Let's dive into it. We're going to talk about current events first. Now, the way I cover current events is not going to be extensive. It's not going to be necessarily always drama. It's not always going to be serious news. It's just basically going to be real quick takes of current events, because I think even as musicians, we need to stay informed. We don't need an exhaustive list, but we need a little bit of information. So let's go to AI. That's how people feel about AI. No, not really. ChatGPT came out, right? ChatGPT-5. ChatGPT came out a long time ago, but ChatGPT-5. We also had a cloud model come out. We had Genie. We had Grok 4 drop not that long ago. All the new AIs, right? If you're an AI fanatic, you know all this. If you're not an AI fanatic, you're like, why are you talking about AI? AI is evil. It's the devil. It's ruining everything. Let's get a little bit of nuance, shall we? The first thing I want to say is all these new models, here's the deal about new models. They promise the moon, and in reality, they are never as impressive as they say that they are. And a lot of that comes down to this benchmark stuff. And they're basically just cheating, on the tests. They really are. This has been well documented. They cherry pick too, right? It's like when, your parents ask you for your report card, and you're like, oh, I got an A in geography, and then you failed to, say about your math score and all that business. That's really what's going on here with GPT-5, with Grok 4, with Claude, all those. They pick the one they did the best on, they ignore all the rest. Now, what does this mean to you and I? It means that if you really want to use some AI, which I genuinely think actually you probably should be messing around with it, you really still just need to hold on to one premium subscription. If you're a GPT guy, just who cares? Stay with GPT. If you're a Grok guy, do the Grok. If you're Gemini, do the Gemini. There's not really, in my opinion, a compelling reason why you need to do multiple unless you're just like a power user. And if you want to hate on AI, keep hating on AI. Go for it. My 1 cent of advice would not be to use it for the creative stuff. Use your brain for the creative stuff. When you're making music, make some beautiful music. Don't worry about AI making the music for you. But when you're trying to figure out what to buy for groceries, when you're trying to make a report, like a to-do list for your road trip, when you're trying to remember certain things, it works kind of like a fancy autocomplete / Google, and works quite well for that. But please, 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 please don't turn off your brain entirely, because this sucker still hallucinates. They all hallucinate still. All right, we're going to talk a little bit about world unrest. We've got craziness all over the world, right? We got the Ukraine-Russia thing. We've got Israel-Gaza. We've got tariffs. We got trade wars. Everything's crazy, right? Dogs and cats living together. Panic, right? Insanity. I'm not going to get into it. I'm sorry to disappoint you. I know you wanted the hot takes of a musician for this, but that's not what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about this, though. We're going to talk about being a Rorschach test, an ink blot test, if you will, for your own ideas and viewpoints. Now, here's the deal. The way that news has devolved with the internet means I don't need to listen to anybody that I disagree with if I don't want to. And what that does is all the foreign policy especially, they can get away with it because it's not in front of your eyes. We don't live in these places. So we can basically get whatever information we want. And so each side just feeds its own narrative. And what you kind of almost have to do is make sure you're ingesting a little bit of both narratives, because I can tell you right now, the truth ain't with either side. It really isn't. All right, let's get out of that hairy situation and let's go to something I wish I had known from the start. When I was just a piano man. I'm just kidding. All right, so what is something that I wish I had known from when I first started music? I'm going to do this one, which is I wish I had known that it's okay not to take everything so literally. When a composer says play forte, you don't have to play forte. When a composer says, hey, it's this speed, and they put a little metronome marking in, and you're like, okay, it's that speed, you don't have to play that speed. When they say play staccato, you don't have to play staccato. When they say play legato, you don't have to play legato. Even in some cases when they tell you, hey, you have to play this note, you don't have to play that note. The truth is, music is always being interpreted. Every time anyone plays any piece of music, they are interpreting it. Now, why is this important and why does it matter? And why do I wish that I had known that you didn't have to do this so literally? Well, it's because if you have this very strict format and idea, you're going to make music so much harder for yourself, because my brain works differently than your brain. It works differently than the brain of the composer that I was playing which piece. So what does that mean? It means that we need a little bit of flexibility. And also, again, each room is a little different. Each situation is a little different. Where I learned this the best is I used to accompany a children's choir, and the main accompanist, I was accompanying the younger group, and he was accompanying the older group. And the main accompanist was amazing, incredible, the most unbelievable sounds. And one of the things that I noticed that he did is, unless it was like a serious classical piece, like we were playing like Handel parts, he literally would basically make up the accompaniment on the spot. And it was so wise, because let's face it, and all the choir composers can come at me in the comments, most choir piano parts are awful. They just genuinely are. And so he would just riff on it and make the most beautiful things, always suiting the choir. Did they need help with a certain note? He'd feed them that note. Do they need the more support in the lower end? He'd make it more lower end. Is it in a more epic part? He'd make parts and make it more epic. Is it a simpler part? He'd simplify it. That led me to really understanding it's about how you interpret and ultimately what you hear. That really is the final boss of playing music, is what do your ears hear? Perception in many ways is reality with music. If I don't hear it a certain way, it didn't happen. And that can be a mistake or it can be on purpose. So please, 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 I beg you, right? Please. Sabrina Carpenter reference. I beg you to not take stuff so seriously and so literally, especially with certain composers. Certain composers are really fond of just writing triple forte the entire time. Yeah, take that with a grain of salt, and it's okay. They're dead. They don't actually care anymore. Now let's end with a question that I get pretty regularly, and that's how to play fast and smooth, right? Because you may be able to play fast and you're like, and it's just kind of a rickety mess, or, you know, maybe you just can't play fast at all. How do you play fast and smooth? Well, here is going to be my trick, and it's not really a trick. I'm sorry. It's just a lot of hard work, and the hard work really comes from practicing scales. So what you're going to do is you're going to pick your scale, and you're going to play it really slow. You're going to hear every note. You're going to listen to those notes. You're going to feel those notes and make sure the hands are perfectly together. Not like that. You actually play the right notes. And then you're going to go back down. And then you're going to do it at eighth note speed for 2 octaves. Maybe with a metronome if you want. Don't have to, but a metronome does help. Then triplets. It helps when you're actually paying attention and not just dancing. Then 16th notes. Again, always even. I'm missing a couple because I'm having way too much fun throwing my hair around. And a lot of it as well, technically wise, is smaller joint movements instead of really big motion. The bigger motion you have, the harder it's going to be to control. And so the smaller motion you have, the easier it's going to be control. That's what I would say. All of that can lead to amazing, expressive, fast playing. Now, is there something that I said that you disagree with? Throw it in the comments. Is there a question that you have that you want answered? Throw it in the comments. And until next time, you should like and subscribe because there's shorts coming out every day. There's live streams every day. There's other long form videos where I talk about different things, break things down. And I'm hoping to do at least one of these once a week, if not more, where we just vibe and get through some things like current events, like things that I wish I had known, and questions I always get. Until next time, I'm Robert Monroe. Thank you so much. Keep on practicing.